Hello, everyone. Pastor Bethany here. We missed you all very, very much. We had staff meetings today, and we're talking about Holy Week, and we were thinking about all of you, and names were popping up in our heads. So we hope that you are all doing very well. Again, if you need anything from your church, we have lots of people who are willing to help, who want to come and bring you things if you need them, come and talk with you, or just talk to you over the phone. So if you need anything, please reach out. We miss you a lot. Can't even express how much we miss you guys. Having 2 Sundays in a row and 3 if you didn't come that time. It's just been kind of a strange time to be a pastor and not see all the people in the church. But been hearing from some of you and meeting you on Zoom and those kind of meetings. So thank you guys for reaching out. I'm sheltering in place at home with me and my cat, who you'll probably see walk by because this is her favorite place to walk, is on my couch. So I'm sheltering at home alone. So call me. I'm alone too. But in this week, we're starting to hear questions come in. We're starting to hear, even like some complaints about what it's like to worship at home. So I wanted to come on and talk to you all about what I think you guys can do to create a sacred place at home to make that worship time more meaningful. Lots of questions about Holy Week that literally got solidified today. So I'm going to tell you what we're doing for Holy Week. Yeah, Debbie, we miss you so much. Give me a call sometime. And then I'm also going to end with a community prayer. So people have still been submitting prayer requests online. So we have those. We've been praying over them as a staff and as pastors. But I wanted to bring those to you guys as well so you could hear the names and pray for them with us. So first of all, the way that we're communicating and all of this, so this video's got a ton of information. I tried to think of breaking it up into 3 different videos, but really we just need to get the information out to you. So this video will be right here on our Facebook page. After I'm done, I will save it. I'm also going to save it and send it off to be put onto our YouTube channel, which you can find from our webpage, and to put on our church webpage. So you can play this video over again. You can stop and pause, rewind, and then email me a question if you have it. So this will be saved. The way that we're communicating mostly is our emails. So if you're not on our email, you can go to the website. You can find how you can sign up to get those weekly emails. We send them out on Wednesdays. And then the individual programs, the youth program, the children's program, will send out other emails throughout the week as well. So if you want to get on those emails, let us know, and we'll make sure that it's coming to the right one. Our website, literally, we are on it every single day. Dawn Swarthout is on there, making it perfect, putting all the links up, changing old material, putting new material up. So that website is really the key to staying in contact, staying up to date on what is going on. Dawn is reminding me that if you watch us live here, like now, or when you watch us live for the worship, it'll ask you a little thing right in that bottom area as people are talking. It'll ask you, do you want to get notified when this channel goes live? If you click yes, every time one of us comes on here or we go live for worship, you will get a reminder that says, hey, they're live right now. So that can be a really helpful thing to help you stay in contact with us as well. You can watch us live, you can come on later and watch the video that's saved on there later. So that is a really cool, easy reminder. You don't have to go looking through an email, going to a website to try and find us. It'll just send you a little reminder right on your phone. So I'm going to start by talking about Holy Week. And on the website, on the church website, where you're going to find all the information about our Holy Week is along the top of the website, there are words like worship and learn and serve. Under the worship word, 1 or 2 or 3 down, it says Holy Week. That's it. All you have to do is go to that section and it will have all the buttons, all the links that you need to find everything for Holy Week. So that's going to be our catch-all for all our Holy Week resources that I'm going to be talking about. So first of all, where is Holy Week going to be? It is going to be right here. We're going to be streaming live right here like we do our worship services on Sunday. We are going to be also using our Sanctuary Cam. So if you go to our YouTube channel or our website that has a link to our YouTube channel, you'll be able to find all of the worship services, Palm Sunday, Monday, Thursday, Good Friday, and Easter. All of those will be streamed in those two places, just like every other Sunday morning. So that's not going to be much different. The one difference is going to be on Monday, Thursday, and Good Friday, we are going to open a Zoom meeting after each one of those worship services. After we're done being live, we're going to go onto Zoom and we can open it up for the community to just meet and talk. We have the ability to break off into smaller groups, so we can have a time where we go into small groups and talk to each other. So if you are at all apprehensive about Zoom, let me tell you, I have been with church members for the last 2 weeks getting them set up. I have gotten all ages. I'm telling you, even the youth, some of them had problems with this. But once we get it set up, it is easy peasy. And the next time you come on, you just click and go on. So if you want to get on Zoom, maybe your families have said, we want to get on Zoom, and you're like, I don't know what to do. I will help you. I am on Zoom on Thursdays from 1 until 3, so I can help you with that. Email me and I'll give you the link to that. I can make sure your video is working, your sound. This is easy, I promise you. Every age has been able to figure it out. We've been able to work on it. So do not be intimidated. Zoom is easy, and it opens up a world of possibilities for you guys while you're sheltering in place to communicate with the community, with your families. It's a really cool platform. And any device, phone, computer, tablets, whatever you've got, you can do this. You can get on Zoom. Back to Holy Week. We are having our Palm Sunday at 10 o'clock, our streaming 10 o'clock service. That will happen this Sunday. Then the Thursday after, so not this coming Thursday, the Thursday after is Holy Week. That is a Maundy Thursday service. That's going to be at 7 p.m. Good Friday, the day later, is going to be 7 p.m. as well. And then on Easter Sunday, we have a 7 a.m. sunrise service and a 10 a.m. service at the regular time. All of this is online, Facebook, and live streamed on the YouTube page that we have, the YouTube channel. So if it's on a Sunday, we have 10 a.m. The weekday ones are at 7 p.m. And then Easter, we have an additional 7 a.m. service. So those are our 4 Holy Week services. And if you've been at our church for a while, you know that we normally have a prayer vigil. Now the prayer vigil is something we've been doing for years, where from Friday, Good Friday at noon, till Holy Saturday at noon, we have somebody in our community praying continually. So a continuous 24 hours of prayer, and it's amazing. The first time I did it, I was a little bit intimidated by having to pray for an hour, but we get so many prayer requests in, we get so many little cute, beautiful poems that you can pray, that we send out to all of the people who are going to be praying. That hour goes by real quickly. I was even considering signing up for 2 hours this year because it went by so quickly this last year. Last I checked, there are 4 slots left open to do the prayers. We are asking everyone to pray at home, obviously, and we will email out all of the prayer requests to the people who have signed up, and we will send out some other fun, beautiful prayers and poems that you can pray along the way as well. So we have plenty of content. If you can read for an hour, you can pray for an hour, I promise you. So go on to the church website, click that prayer vigil area, and you can sign up for those slots. If you want to submit a prayer, and I suggest that you do, so we have a lot to pray for, there is also a form online that you can fill out, and you will submit that to electronically, and we will compile all of those prayers to be prayed for during our prayer vigil. So that is our 24-hour prayer vigil. So that's Holy Week. If you're just joining and you missed all of that, after this, I'm going to post this video so you can rewind and watch all of what I just said. So we want Holy Week to be interactive. We know that you can see us, we can't see you, but it'll be really meaningful if we're doing things together, and we know that we're all doing them together. This last week, we gave it a shot by, hold on, I have to get my cat out of here. Shoo. I have little things on my table she's trying to steal. So last week we lit the Christ candle together, and that was really meaningful to know that we were all lighting a candle together. So we're going to do a couple other interactive things during Holy Week, so starting on Sunday. The first thing is, it is Palm Sunday this Sunday, so we usually hand out palms. That we cannot do this week, obviously. So there is going to be an instruction on the website on how to make your own palm. Super easy. You need maybe a crayon, a piece of paper, and some scissors. It's really, really easy. Also, you can use jackets, you can use blankets to wave around. All of those things would tie into how Jesus came into Jerusalem as well. So we want you to have something ready for that opening hymn, so that when we are waving our palms in the sanctuary, you have something to wave at home as well. So for Palm Sunday, because it is the first Sunday of a month, and for Maundy Thursday, because we celebrate communion that, we are going to be taking communion. The clerk of the Presbyterian Church United States has allowed for churches to give a blessing, sort of as a community blessing to send out through the waves that we are broadcasting. And so they've approved the in-home communions, and our session agreed with that and agreed that we can do communion that way. So what you will need to have ready on Sunday and Maundy Thursday is something to eat for the bread and something to eat for the cup. Fun thing with PCUSA too that you might not know is recently we changed what can be considered bread and cup to be whatever is available. So even in the direst circumstances, if you have a Skittle and Mountain Dew, that can work. So grab some bread, grab some crackers, grab whatever you've got around that you can eat and partake as the bread of heaven. And then anything that you can find as the cup of salvation. So this can be water, this can be juice, this can be wine, whatever beverage you want to do. So those two things will be needed as well on this Sunday and on Maundy Thursday, so that you can take communion with us when we are taking communion in the sanctuary. Some of you may have picked up, if you have kids especially, may have picked up a little bank at the beginning of Lent that you were supposed to fill with money and bring back in on Easter, so that we can put this all towards the one great hour of sharing, which is one of our big offerings that the PCUSA does. If you have this, we tested it out, and we believe that these will fit into the mail slot at the front of the church. What we ask, though, is that you take your bank and you put it in a Ziploc bag, because the mail slot is a lot longer, and by the time it hits the ground, all of the coins will be scattered across the church floor. So if you can bring your bag, put it in a Ziploc bag, and bring it in, put it in the mail slot. The mail slot is located at the front of the church. So if you're looking at the front, sanctuary is over on the side. If you're looking at me, maybe it's over on this side. I'm not sure how the video broadcasts on your end, but the side that the sanctuary is on, in the front of the church, there's a door for the main sanctuary, and then another one next to it. The slot is in between those two doors. So you can just slide this in, and we'll have them ready for Easter and be able to send that off to the PCUSA to collect for one great hour of sharing. Finally, the last interactive piece is the one I'm most excited about. So we have put together a litany and a liturgy that, hold on, what Debbie want? Yes, Debbie, Skittles and Mountain Dew. You can use that. Coffee, I don't know, coffee and chocolate, whatever you want. It is the joyful feast. Remember, we're going to make it joyful with whatever we have around us. Okay, the last thing that I'm excited for our interactive piece is we have created a sort of Holy Week wreath. So if you know Advent, we have Advent wreaths that have a candle in the middle and 4 candles on the outside. And essentially, the Holy Week wreath is exactly the same thing. The candles represent peace, hope, joy, and love, the same as our Advent wreaths, and the middle is the Christ candle. But this is going to help us tell the story and for you to interact with the Holy Week story at home in your own space. I'm going to go over next a little bit about how to create a sacred space in your house so that maybe worshiping isn't so weird and awkward. So I'm going to help you do that. And by doing that, I'm going to make my Holy Week wreath so you can see how I'm going to do that. And then you can make your own and have that ready for Sunday. We're going to light them on Palm Sunday, we're going to light it on Maundy, Thursday. We're going to light them on Good Friday and then put out the lights as Jesus goes into the tomb. And then on Easter, we'll relight those lights and bring the light back into the world. It's going to be very cool. So what you need for that is 5 sources of light. And I say it like that because I am not a candle person. So I was able to find 3 candles in my house. I have 1 battery-powered candle and a flashlight. You can use room lights. If you have like a lamp, you can kind of see my lamp off to the side here. You can turn that on as one of your sources of lights. Candles, your phone flashlight. You need 5 sources of light that you can turn on and off that will be part of your Holy Week wreath. And then to decorate the area, you can put anything that's meaningful in there. Cindy Merton mentioned that if you go out right now and find something that's budding, if you bring it inside by Easter, it will have forced itself to flower. So that would be a really cool thing to include in your Holy Week wreath as well. So I have gotten lots of comments about worshiping at home being a little bit weird. Lots of different reasons for that. And so one of the things I wanted to walk through with you is how to create a sacred space in your own home. Because we're going to be in our homes for a long time, this is something that can be used for worship time, but it also can be a time for your family to know, if I'm in this corner, if I'm sitting in this chair, I'm trying to have a sacred moment, and I just need some time. So creating a sacred space can be really meaningful while we're inside. So the first thing to do is to pick the space. If you are using this sacred space to watch worship, it might be your couch that is being your sacred space. If you're using this for devotionals, it can be a corner, it can be a chair, anywhere that you would find a place where you can create that kind of space. So pick your space, choose wisely, and declutter. If it's in your living room, it's going to be harder to declutter. But the point is that we're trying to limit distractions. When we are home, we are seeing that pile of work that needs to get done later. We're hearing alarms going off as breakfast gets done. Someone might be doing something outside. There's, some cobweb that you forgot to clean up. If we can create a place that limits those distractions, our sacred space is going to be much more successful. So looking at the sacred space and decluttering. So maybe Saturday night, the family is getting together to create that sacred space so that when you wake up in the morning, it's ready for worship. I highly recommend finding ways to engage all 5 senses. For example, make it comfortable so that for the touch, it's a comfortable couch, it's a comfortable corner. Make it something that you can really enjoy your time in and you're not worried about being scratchy. There are lots of things that people sometimes will hold a rock during their sacred time just to kind of remind themselves to stay focused, that when their hands want to go and do something, reach for their phone or something, they remember, oh, I'm in my sacred moment. So find something maybe that you can hold during that sacred time. Hearing as quiet as possible. If you're using worship, so that you can hear well what's going on in worship. We will recheck all the mics again this week. That seems to be the one thing that keeps getting us. But we will double check all that to make that easier on you. If you're using the space for a devotional, pick out some music that you want to listen to. Pick out some ocean tunes. YouTube and Spotify have great playlists that are just kind of sacred, calming, peaceful playlists. For the sense of smell, these can be candles, it can be essential oil, something that you spray in the air right before. This kind of triggers the body to remember something is happening. And the more and more you use that smell in your sacred space, the more your body will just naturally go into that space of allowing God's presence to be with you. Smell is one of the most powerful senses we have. So if we can include smell in our sacred space, it'll help us get into that quicker and not have to maybe take as many breaths to get calmed down and ready. Seeing candles are great. I know for me, if I'm in a sacred place, I really like a candle to look at because the flame dances and it gives me something to kind of like study and think about, but it's not so complicated that I can't also be thinking about what God is saying to me or what I need to say to God. Anything that reminds you of God's presence is a good thing to have, maybe a focal point in your sacred space, like this Holy Week wreath that we'll create is a focal point that you can have in your space. Anything that makes you feel peaceful. This can be reminders of trips or reminders of people. It can be beautiful things from your garden or clippings from outside. Anything that kind of gives you that sense and reminds you that you are in the presence of God and God is with you is a really good thing to include in your sacred space. Taste, why not? I know that some of the most joyful moments of my sheltering in place has been when I allow myself to have a piece of chocolate. So why not include that in your sacred space time? Put a piece of chocolate out there, and when you get in there, have a bite of that and just enjoy that flavor. It actually is a very ancient tradition to actually have salt water available. Salt water is a reminder of tears. It's a reminder of maybe some bitter experiences. It can help our body kind of remember and bring us back into those grief moments so that we can process that grief intentionally and help our bodies release some of that we're feeling. So engage your 5 senses when you're setting up your sacred space. So I'm going to show you what I picked out for my wreath, for my Holy Week wreath. And we'll see what you can actually see in here. So I have a book, a devotional book that I can use every day that I can put in here. I have, here's my flashlight that I can use. I'm just going to stick it in one of these candle holders. I have some other candles that I can put around the edge here. And then a candle in the middle for my Christ candle that I can put there. And then if you know me, you know I love turtles. So I picked out turtles from places or that remind me of people, places where I've seen God, people that remind me of God, some that have sayings on there that remind me of things that God says to me. So this would be my Holy Week wreath, and I would have a candle lighter to light my other 3 candles, a flashlight, a battery powered, whatever sources of light you find. And then I can have this setting up wherever I need it to kind of center me and keep me engaged with what's happening, with the worship that's happening. So that will be my Holy Week wreath during this week. And the last kind of bit for the sacred space is that when it comes time to enter that sacred space, to enter it with a deep meaning of intent, of commitment, that you're not just, especially if it's in your living room and it's something that you walk into every day, when you want to go in there and use it as a sacred space, you want to walk in there knowing that you were going in there for one reason, to be with God, to be in God's presence. If it's the worship service, to worship God. Making this intent, making this a commitment before you walk in will help you when those kind of distractions come up. When someone's loud outside, you can say, doesn't sound dangerous. I'm just going to sit. I told God that I was going to be here and sit with God. That will help a lot when you make that commitment. When you feel yourself becoming distracted, to take a couple breaths, to recognize, okay, I'm getting distracted. I'm getting pulled out of this. Okay, I'm back. To take a couple breaths and get yourself back into that place. With worship especially, I will say embrace the weird. It is going to be weird to be the only person responding to the call to worship. If you are not a singer, it's going to be weird to hear your voice singing. It might even be painful, but God thinks it is a beautiful voice. And that is the only one that matters, and probably the only one that's going to hear it if you're there alone. So embrace the weird is my mantra for worshiping at home. And participate as much as you can. We are probably watching a lot of TV, and if you are watching worship also on a TV, it's going to be hard to distinguish psychologically, is this a worship service or is this a TV show? And so if you go in with an intent, if you embrace the weird and participate, you will have a much more successful worship experience. When you think about walking into our sanctuary, all of these things happen naturally. We walk into the sanctuary, it's been designed to be awe-inspiring and beautiful, to have places where we can put our eyes while we're thinking and reflecting. We kind of intentionally know we're supposed to turn off our phones. We're not supposed to think about brunch that's coming up. We're supposed to stay in the moment. Worship services are designed to have some music and have some talking, to be variety, to keep our attention. These things happen really naturally in the sanctuary. When you're at home, it's not as natural because we haven't spent money to literally develop a sacred space. And so we have to be much more intentional with what we're doing at home in order to create that time to be meaningful. And it'll help, especially with kids, to know that, this is something different. This is not just a show. We are still expected to participate and talk and pray together and be in it with each other. So being intentional with how you're walking into that sacred space will be really important. So I hope that you learned something in all of that. I will probably go live on my personal page maybe later tonight to go over the sacred space again, because I know a lot of friends are looking for that as well. And I wanted to talk about specifically our church with you guys. So if you want to hear that again, I'll be live on my personal page in a little bit. And this will be saved and it'll be on the website and all that fun stuff. So hang in there. And in the realm of hang in there, I really wanted to end with a prayer. That is one of the most meaningful times that I get to spend with you all, and I really miss it. So I would like to end this prayer with the prayer requests that we've gotten in the church, that we've been praying over individually as a staff, and to help you guys hear the names as well, the joys and the concerns of our church. So if you just take a moment with me, intentionally prepare ourselves for a prayer, find a comfortable position to be in, take a deep breath, invite intentionally the presence of God to be with us. The Bible says when 2 or 3 are gathered, and I believe that he totally means virtually or physically, and God is with us whether we gather in person or online. God, we have entered into a season of our lives that none of us have any experience in. We don't have elders to go to say, what was it like when? We don't have leaders who have done this before. And so we are all taking each baby step forward that we think is right. And so we just trust that you are guiding and lighting that path to get us through this safely and securely. In our community, God, we ask prayers for Emily, who is a doctor who will be starting those 12-hour shifts at Providence Hospital on the COVID-19 floors. Please be with her. Send all of the equipment that she needs and keep her safe. Let every patient that she touches feel your love and your presence. We pray for Cheryl and Jim and baby Owen, for patience and understanding and guidance and hope. For all of those who will soon be mothers and that who can't share this special time with their friends and family. We thank you that the prayers that we have prayed for Allie have resulted in continuing recovery. And we pray for Christy, who is in rehabilitation. We ask for prayers for Amy and Dennis. Prayers for Dr. Steve Hill, who is in Colorado. We ask for prayers for all of the frontline workers in healthcare and grocery, food service. We ask prayers for people who have lost their jobs and who are fearful. We ask prayers for a husband who's been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. God, please be close to Joe and Fred and John, Diane, Hal, and Tom. Please be with Julie as she continues to heal from surgery. Be with Donna and Amy, Kristen and Jennifer, Alexander, and all those other students without classes to find focus Help them to keep learning and keep growing. Prayers for David and Kyle. We ask prayers for those in long-term care, especially in memory facilities who are confused by this isolation. We ask prayers for the Azaza family, for Kelsey, for Bill and Judy, and for Bill's daughters, Christine and Ginger. We ask prayers for the Andrada family as they grieve the loss of their stepfather. We ask prayers for Anne and Ty, Drew, and Sandy. We ask prayers for Jennifer, for Dottie, and for Carolyn. God, please be with Jim and Cheryl, Christopher and Megan and baby Owen. We ask for hope and acceptance and guidance through a difficult and emotional time for Sarah and for a grandmother. God, we ask prayers for Nancy. Keep her safe, keep her healthy until she's able to have surgery. We ask prayers for Catherine and her family as they've been exposed and wait out to see if symptoms will develop. We also ask prayers for Ruth. We ask prayers for Olga and Lisa and Candace. God, there are so many more that we could pray for, so many more names in our hearts. And so as we take a moment to think about all those faces, all those people, we ask you to send them peace and your comfort. We ask you to give them strength and to let us know when we can be of help. And let us end this prayer with the words that Jesus taught us. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Thank you so much for joining me today. This video will be saved immediately right here, so you can go back and hear all that I said about Holy Week, all that I said about creating a sacred space at home. If you have any questions, please reach out. All of the contact information is on the church website as well. You can comment on this video. I'll keep my eyes on it for the rest of the night and answer questions as they come up. Or you can send a message to this Facebook page. I'll see them as well. Have a blessed night. Keep safe. Be kind to one another. Smile to people on the streets. Let's show God's love in all those fun ways. Have a blessed evening.